I'd like to call to order the Executive Committee meeting Wednesday, September 17, 2025 at 9 a.m. We will start off with a roll call.
Mr. Hess? Ms. Polk? Mr. Seroy? Ms. Weber? Ms. Parker? Mr. Carrico?
Present.
Mr. Featherling? Mr. Kirkstra? Mr. Hunter? Mr. Smith? Ms. Foster? Mr. Ashcraft? Mr. Alexander Hildebrand?
Present.
Mr. Long?
Present.
We do have a quorum.
We have a quorum. Can I have a motion and a second to allow Carrico in via Zoom? First by Searoyce. Second by Foster. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We don't have anything under public comments, no presentation, so I'll move on to the approval of the minutes of August 20th, 2025. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes? First by Hunter. Second by Weber. Any discussion on those minutes? All right, voice vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. We'll have Anita cover legislative if there's anything. Next up is Information Systems. Jason Shane with a monthly update. Morning, Jason.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As we always do, we're still going through our service calls and our preventative maintenance. We're finishing up the Windows 11 update project. We've also upgraded and rewired 2 network boxes on the first floor of the annex, which takes quite a bit of time, but we're able to do it within house, being able to save us like easily tens of thousands of dollars. Plus, it gives them the 10 gig backbone, like what we have built out here now. We've also upgraded 1 Wi-Fi unit and installed 3 additional Wi-Fi units for that first floor to really help the network, the wireless network over there. And I've already been hearing good news from the probation department for that. We've also had a fiber line installed from the courthouse to the annex to upgrade that backbone for the courthouse being able to talk to their own servers. Currently, we're in testing mode of that new line. We're able to get it up to 25 gig speeds, which is 25 times faster than what they currently have. So, I'm really excited about myself. And like always, we're still on budget. We're going to, our future projects is to continue upgrading the annex. We plan on moving on to the 2nd floor now, and then moving up to the courthouse to start working on their network. That's really all I have at the moment, unless anyone has any questions.
Any questions for Jason? All right, thank you.
All right, short and sweet.
Next up, we have the Health Department, John Vivas, with his monthly report. Can I have a motion to accept and put his report on file? First by Featherling, second by Hess. Any discussion on his report?
Good morning, everyone.
Voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Morning.
Good morning. I'm sorry.
No, you're all
I
good.
thought you were finished and ready for me to start talking. I thought I was behind.
You are all good.
You have my report. I will not insult your intelligence by reading it for you. This is a number of activities that we've been involved with, or I have been involved with the last month. I'll entertain any questions anyone may have.
Mr. Searoyd?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Beavis, on your report it says wastewater for August shows low levels of COVID and flu RSV locally. How do we determine that? What's the process of reading the wastewater?
That's a good question. The state, the Illinois Department of Public Health, has a program which I had reported on a year, or maybe it's been a couple of years ago, in relation to a number of sewage treatment plants throughout the state, including Kankakee, is tested regularly to determine, it's amazing what they can actually test for now, and they look for the remnants of these viruses shed through our waste into the sewer systems then. since we are now no longer able to count, you know, home tests for flu or COVID or some of the other things that individuals can go into the pharmacies and buy these home test kits, they no longer have to report those to the health department or the state health department, for example. So the state is doing these wastewater testings to see that if you see levels of higher levels of, you know, the RSV, the COVID, the flu, and there's some other ones that are getting added here in the near future, it's an indication that it's present in your community. And if we monitor that, then we are able to at least contact the hospitals and say, hey, are you seeing more cases in the hospital? And then we can kind of see, are we on a, you know, green alert, yellow alert, red alert type situation. I can say, you know, when I wrote the report, we were low levels. I have been hearing, you know, talk within the community, the hospital specifically, that we're starting to see some higher levels of COVID. Now, higher than not very many is not a great big percentage like what we were seeing years ago, obviously. But then it helps us monitor the situation and then determine if we need to put information out on our social media.
Thank you.
Mr. Hunter?
Yeah, just to follow up on that, Todd and Mr. Beavis, our wastewater treatment facility, Karma, does those testing. You'd be amazed at the kind of things that they test for, and if you need to know anything about that, you can get a hold of Dave Tyson out to Carmel.
All right, thanks, sir.
Any more questions for John? All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Have a great day, everybody.
Next up, we have schools, Dr. Patricia High with her monthly report. Can I have a motion to accept and put her report on file? First by Foster, second by Weber. Any discussion on her report? All right, voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Welcome, Dr. High.
Good morning from Springfield, Illinois.
Fun drive.
You know, I get the Central Illinois tour occasionally during the month. So again, I'm going to kind of cover the core functions of ICANN. I already covered regulatory compliance and oversight, professional development, student services. Now I'm going to kind of cover the boring stuff, which is fiscal and administrative support. We currently assist the school districts in consolidation, reorganization, and cooperative services. We do house the Regional Board of School Trustees. And our latest, kind of where I've been involved in the office, was a school district hybrid consolidation in 23-24 school year. And then in the 24-25 school year, we had an individual reorganization in Iroquois County. So those were kind of long processes, like it's pretty much spelled out by the state in order and how to go about the reorganizations and the consolidations. And we appreciate our state's attorney for helping us out with that, because we do have to have our ducks in a row when it comes to those different, I guess, initiatives. We also serve as fiscal agents for a lot of grants and services among districts. We have the Regional Safe School Programs, which is the state's funded alternative education program. Students that are expulsion or suspension eligible, I talked about it last meeting. We have our Truancy Alternative and Operational Education Program, which is also a state grant that our office writes for and receives. It's an every 3-year write and then a rewrite, and then a update within that cycle. And it serves students that need truancy prevention and intervention services. We also have evidence-based funding for ICANN Schools program, which is a state-funded assistance, and it's based on enrollment of our schools program, so it does fluctuate. We do have a base funding model, but then it does fluctuate based on our number of students. We have our school services grant, which is an ISB and state funded grant, our instructional coaching grant, which is an ISB funded grant and federal dollars, McKinney-Vento grant, which is ISB federally funded grant, which provides a liaison to each ROE across the state. And then they talk and educate the liaisons in each school district. We have our Teen Responsibilities, Education, Achievement, Caring, Hope, or Teen Reach, we call it. And it's a state-funded grant through the Department of Human Services. We have our Family Violence Coordinating Council grant. We have our Substance Abuse Prevention grant that the Life Education Center and the Illinois Department of Human Services kind of coordinates, provides prevention education in Iroquois and Kankakee County. So those kind of encompass our grants. I'm going to also cover our fifth core, which is our mediation and conflict resolution. And it just basically means that we facilitate resolutions and disputes among school districts, staff, parents, and the state of education, like ISB. Sometimes we get calls from concerned citizens, and we try to mediate and kind of be that go-to liaison. That's it. Sorry, guys. I went fast.
Mr. Hunter?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Dr. Hyatt, I noticed you referenced a grant for truancy, and before you made your report, I wanted to know. I had written down a little couple notes in terms of the truancy rate. I mean, how are you addressing that? Has it improved or not? Because I bring that up because a lot of times during the day, you see kids walking the street, and I know they should be in school. So can you speak to it?
Yeah, so like last time, I think our last meeting, I covered kind of our 600 truancy cases. It does increase as the school year goes on, but it also decreases. So our truancy staff encompasses 7 individuals that provide interventions. School districts are supposed to provide 3 interventions, not only just a letter home or a phone call, possibly a home visit, but our truancy staff does provide different interventions, such as giving students alarm clocks, which sometimes is not very effective. But they also do a lot of home visits, and a lot of families, like the whole family is truant. And so our caseworkers work together in providing different services. One time we provided, because parents were within walking distance to the school, but they, had little kids and couldn't, walk the little kids with the older students to school. So they provided, a stroller for them. We provided, different objects to decrease the barriers when it comes to getting kids to school. And I know a lot of our schools do rely on us. That TAP grant, it's important to our office, but again, it is a grant, and so we always have a fear of losing it. But the interventions and the parent meetings and our truancy review boards, and we use IRIS through the health department for referring kids for mental health services, because a lot of times it's mental health that sometimes stands in the way.
I got another question. In terms of intervention, I know I serve on the KFL Community Services Board, and we provide hats, gloves, scarves, and underwear, for some of your, I don't know how many schools, Mark Twain, King, Taft, anyway, we
There's
do,
a lot, yeah.
Several, about 5 of them we provide stuff to, because, some of the teachers will say, these kids come to school with no socks, no underwear. Wow. So what kind of intervention do you guys have?
So we do provide different, different clothing items. We have a lot of lice kits on staff, on file. It's a lot of barriers are coming from the home, and we're trying to provide people and families with supplies, whether it be when they had uniforms, we had uniforms in our storage locker. We had a ton of different socks, hats, gloves. Target was huge in donating a bunch of stuff for us. We appreciated that. We use our McKinney-Vento grant a lot when we have students that are homeless. I mean, we have kids living in cars. It breaks your heart seeing what kids are going through. I know just talking, we were having a bed bug conversation. We supply families that with pest control. They just have to sign a document that says that we're not liable. You know, we do everything we can, and we work with the families and where they're at. But a lot of this stems from their home environments, and making sure that we're educating parents on the importance of sending their kids to school. And we provide meals, we provide gas cards. I mean, you name it, we have written it into the grant to provide that funding.
Thank you.
No problem.
Rosemary?
Good morning, Dr. High. How are you?
Good. How are you? Good.
Good. You know, the last time, it's been a couple of months, but I wanted to ask you, has the school district been able to fill the deficit of teachers who were not certified?
So are you talking about a specific school district, or are you talking about
District
all of
111,
them?
the high school.
So we're talking about KK 111?
Yes.
Okay, so currently what we do in our office is part of our compliance is we go to each school district and we basically audit their teacher files. And our licensure specialist does that. And once we audit those files, we inform the school district of what needs to happen in order to have certified staff. Currently, I do not know the number of non-certified staff in each school, but I do know that because it gets done throughout September, so we're currently in that process. But I do know that we do provide a system that ensures that they have at least a substitute license.
There was
Mr.
Dr.
Harmon.
I know I can't recall the data, but I remember there was a state rate in terms of non-certified teachers compared to 111, and the 111 rate was abysmal compared to the state rate. But do you remember that information at all?
Yeah, I can't recall, but I will tell you that they are we talk to them almost weekly. When it comes to certifying teachers, because they have taken a shift this past year in getting teachers that have certifications. In all of our districts, I will say, we have permanent subs. The teacher shortage is only getting worse. We are trying to encourage young high school students to go into education. I'm in Springfield right now, and that was one of our raising educators sessions that we were talking about how to get people into the field of education. So I think that our schools are doing the best they can. I truly do believe that. We have excellent leaders in all of our districts. But when it comes to the teacher shortage, it's still there. It's not going to go away in a year or two. It's going to have to be a systematic change.
Thank you.
Any more questions for Dr. High? All right, thank you very much.
I'm sorry, I have to excuse myself. I have to go to meetings.
No, you are fine. Thank you.
Good report.
Have a great day.
Next up, we have the Veterans Assistance Commission, Eric Peterson. If you'd like to come to the front, he's going to give his monthly report. Can I have a motion to accept and put his report on file? First by Searoyce. Second by Weber. And then we'll do a voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. So, As the time of this report, there were 4 Veterans Treatment Court participants and 2 under consideration. One of those was brought in, and we have another one to fill that space as far as being under consideration. So now we have 5 that are actually in Veterans Court, with another 2, possibly 2 more, that will be up for consideration, which is great. As far as our office is concerned, Karen and Ty presented to the Riverside Senior Living Facility for a Dine and Discover program on VA benefits. We were able to connect with some of the veterans that were staying at that facility and their spouses and widows who didn't know that they too qualified for benefits. So it's very important that we continue to do that type of work. We're hoping to get into some of the other senior facilities before this winter. I also have here, which you'll see, a proposal for a remodel. So we're in the very beginning stages, but as you may know, before my time here as superintendent, the Veterans Assistance Commission was looking at the idea of an expansion. I believe that we have to be as efficient as we can with the space that we already have. Our offices are great, but our front office, initially, if you haven't been to our office, and I invite you to come and take a tour sometime, but it was initially set up for a sleep study clinic, and we made the most out of it. We've done a good job with everything so far, but I believe that we could look at some options with the very front area of the office to potentially remodel it so we can be more efficient, have more space for more employees before we need to look at the idea of expanding our square footage and all the additional costs that would come with that. So again, very early stages, but it is something that I am looking into at this time. In addition to that, although the VA has been a little slow to finalize claims, we've had a lot of positive feedback from some claims come through in the last couple of weeks. The Veteran Affairs did a suicide prevention study for 2025, and it looked at veteran suicide from the years of 2022 to 2024. In that, they found that veteran suicide, unfortunately, has been on the rise. You heard the number 22 a day is actually about 17 a day, just over 17. And out of that 17, 10 of those veterans a day are not connected with VA healthcare. One of the populations within the veteran demographic is the indigenous veteran population, Native American veterans. So Karen is also the Director of Education for the National Association for County Veteran Service Officers because of her work, and she had the opportunity to train VSOs from the tribal nations in August. It was very successful, very knowledgeable week, and also very needed as that suicide prevention study by the VA made us aware of. We also have H-Wave that comes into our office now once a month to demonstrate their TENS unit. Essentially, H-Wave is a VA-approved device for pain relief and recovery. A lot of veterans tend to be a little hands-on when they want to try something that might really make a difference when it comes to some of the pain that they're experiencing. So we asked H-Wave if they would come to our office to do free demonstrations for anybody in the veteran community that wants to see how the device works. And if they do want to use it, they can go down the hall to the community-based outpatient clinic and actually put a referral in so they can get one. We also have Aaron Craig from Congresswoman Kelly's office. He has started coming into our office once a month to serve the veteran community. He can actually also work with anybody that is looking for any assistance with IRS, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid issues, passport and visa issues, in addition to working with the veteran community on their military records, discharge upgrades, veteran health care, veteran benefit issues, and TRICARE issues. So we were happy to welcome him into our office to be able to provide some additional services and make sure that our community has a voice in any of those respects. Outside of that, we also have the Illinois Department of Veteran Affairs Service Officer Mal Norfleet. He comes into our office on most Wednesdays from the Veterans Home. He will also do hunting and fishing licenses while he's in our office, if you know of any veterans that are looking for some assistance with that. Outside of that, in addition, we've also just worked out the beginning stages of an agreement with a nonprofit called Farm to Veteran inside Manhattan, Illinois. They are going to be donating a freezer to the Liberty Lodge that they will be filling with meat, eggs, and produce, and then they're also going to donate a freezer to the Veterans Assistance Commission for our food pantry, so we can also have meat, eggs, and produce. Not to say there's anything wrong with the typical things that we get donated to our food pantry, but we would just really like to be able to provide real quality food to any of the veterans and their families that come into our office looking for that assistance. Outside of that, we're still looking into grants for all of the things that I just previously mentioned. Working on our SOP book still, about halfway there, and we have a resource fair coming up on February 26th at the community-based outpatient clinic and VAC office that is being done between Hines VA and the CBOC. And then on October 25th, there is going to be a fundraiser for the Liberty Lodge at the Bradley American Legion at 4 p.m. with Bear Construction. They are going to be doing a fundraiser to raise funds so we can do some beautification on the Liberty Lodge, fence, gazebo, and make that place what we see and what we saw when we first wanted to have it built for the homeless veteran community, which is a gem that we should all be very, very proud of. But other than that, that concludes my report, unless anybody else has any questions.
Any questions? Mr. Hunter?
A very thorough report, Eric.
Thank you.
One comment, you're talking about expansion. How are you going to pay for it?
So as of right now, we are looking at some of the unobligated funds that we need to use. I am still learning the process of how everything works with all of our unobligated funds, what we can use, how we can use it. So between those and potential grants that we're looking into, if we do decide on proceeding with any sort of remodel, I would be looking into that, and also working with the county to ensure that however I'm going about this is in the most fiscally responsible way possible.
What's your budget for this expansion?
As of right now, we do not have a budget, but when I do, I will make sure that I update everybody and let you know.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any more questions for Eric? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody.
Next up, we have the County Administrator, Anita Speckman, the monthly update, and then website ADA compliance standards. Good morning, Anita.
Morning. Good morning, everyone. First, I'll just mention that in terms of legislative, I'll get to one item that's a federal issue in a bit, but in terms of something from UCCI, the next meeting is Monday, which I'll be attending, and I'll be in Springfield for that. So I'll probably have more information that may come out of there. That's all I have in terms of the legislative for today. In terms of new hires and postings, we currently have 10 current openings. Of those, 6 are over 30 days old. So a few new ones, but overall, most over 30 days old. We have new hire orientation tomorrow with 6 people reserved at this point in time. 2 of those are public health, and of the 10 openings on our current list, 3 of those are at the public health department as well, which we don't get involved in terms of the hiring process, but we do post on our website and distribute those notices for them. I'm also working on the property liability, work comp, and cyber application. The cyber application was submitted this week, and they have that application currently for renewal. The property liability, work comp, trying to get the information back from Highway for Inland Marine for all their equipment. Just got back the auto piece from the finance department, so it's putting all that together and then estimating salaries for next year in terms of work comp. Work comp policy is based on $100 worth of payroll for each of the maybe 10 work comp classifications. So it's looking at what our year-to-date salaries are, forecasting what they will be by the end of November, and then estimating based on, let's say, union renewals or estimated increase, what they will be next year. And what happens each year then is in March, April timeframe, they send an auditor here and they review what our estimate was for the current year, what was submitted with the application, and then they will either give us a refund or an additional bill. I always prefer a refund, but a small refund. I don't want to overpay by a lot, so it's always trying to get that as close as possible to what we will owe. So that's where that's at. That is a huge process to get that application ready. It's 42 pages long, and like I said, it includes just tremendous amount of questions and estimates and work to get that done. So that's in process. Health insurance, group health for 2026 is on the table. That'll be discussed tomorrow. Will be presented to the finance committee. Once the board determines what the renewal will be, we will kick into high gear upstairs, and it is changing all our open enrollment documentation, changing all the software, updating all the software to feed into new rates, new plans, etc. So there's a lot of work that has to be done between that approval and December 1st when open enrollment begins for our employees. So that's on deck as well. In terms of legislatives, we do have a new ADA rule that impacts the county. It is for all state and local governments. For these entities that are over 50,000 citizens, it is effective April 24th, 2026, and there are changes that must occur to our website to make it ADA compliant in terms of visibility. So we were told about it from our attorneys that work with us through the insurance company and protect us from liability. Sandy Cianci found out about it, has had it come up through her her group, her team of circuit clerks throughout the state of Illinois. They've had quite a few meetings on it. So here's bottom line the issue. Eric and Jason worked with, our host is Civic Plus. They host our website. So to determine what would meet the requirements. There is a widget that can be a plug-in to the website. Now, can we shop that to other vendors? No, we're pretty much locked in with our current provider. So they offered us a solution that meets the requirements. It changes, say, the brightness or the font size, or really font, brightness, color, size, makes it larger, smaller, etc. And it plugs in and allows the user to the website to change that to make it more visible. There's also many visually impaired people use a reader, that reads what is on their computer screen. And what happens when you get to a picture? Well, it fails, right? So there has to be some work on putting in a description of what that picture is so that the reader knows how to handle that information. So there is a solution, and it will cost an additional $11,300 a year. Our hosting costs this year, which we're working on reducing, is $11,131. So it pretty much doubles the cost. We are getting a year one credit of about 50%. So that will help, number one. We are also looking at what portions of things are we paying for on our website that we're not using. There is a subscription service for which we paid 500 users that we really don't have 500 users. So we'll be reducing that. We're looking for things that will help reduce the cost to make it more palatable, I guess. That's issue one. Issue two is Circuit Clerk Cianci came to us and said she requested help. So right now there's an ARPA page which will go away. We can change that ARPA page to the circuit clerk, roll her in, and have her pick up the cost of that change, and in that way she'll be covered by the county's widget that's going to meet the criteria of this. Otherwise, what will happen is we will have every website in the county is going to have something that meets these needs by April. Make sense? So that is another thing that is in the process. Just as an aside, compounding this, historically, the website, as you know, was paid for by ARPA, which goes away. So it has to go somewhere within the county, the ongoing cost. So we're trying to do what we can to meet that fiscally responsibly, but it is always, you know, last month I mentioned we are going to save $20,000 in Paylocity fees, and we're going to take that away. But we're doing our best to try to do this in a fiscally responsible way. So that's what we're working on now. That in terms of work to do that, in terms of plugging in the widget or that meets the needs, that's going to be the host company that does that. So that's not a lot of work. There'll be some work in the transition of the circuit clerk page. So that will be Jason. Thank you. So that's kind of where we're at right now in this process. It's beginning, it will be done prior to April, the April deadline. One thing I do want to say, we were able to figure out, and it speaks to Eric, Jason's work on upgrading our Windows to 11. So another quote came back from the company, which everything you post, like a PDF you post, I talk about these postings, Joanne puts the minutes on, the agendas on, all of those have to be tested to make sure that these readers can read them, right? So there was an extra cost quoted to have that as well, that functionality, and do that. Except that Eric and Jason found that really Windows 11 has that already a function in there to do that. Check accessibility under review. You just click that and it'll do that for us. So by the IT department's upgrade to 11, we're able to already have that plugged in and meet the criteria for the ADA requirements. So that's a good thing. We look to save where we can. Okay.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Any questions?
Okay.
All right, great job.
Thanks.
Next up we have Community Service, County Assessor's Monthly Report. Eric Blair is coming up. And can I have a motion to accept and put his report on file? First by Weber, second by Featherling. Any discussion? All right, voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same side. Motion carries. Welcome. It's on here, so.
Okay. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
All right, very good. So I just have a few things to go over with you this morning. I always like to start with things that we've completed since we last spoke, and one of the things that's really important at the end of August is that we get all the way through the point where we can we create the file for publication and notification of assessment changes. That was done, and we did publish assessments in the newspapers, the Daily Journal on September 10th, which was a Wednesday, and the Herscher pilot on September 11th, which was Thursday. The last day to file an appeal is going to be Tuesday, October 14th. Of course, we're closed on Columbus Day, the 13th, Monday the 13th. So the last day to file an appeal is going to be Tuesday, October 14th. So we're right on schedule with every year. This is 11 years in a row that we've published in the second week of September, with the final day to file an appeal being the day after Columbus Day. So we try to be very consistent with the community and make sure that they know, or they can reasonably predict when it's time to file an appeal against your assessment if you disagree with it, and I'm really proud of that. The idea that we're consistent with it and it's not just kind of all over the place. With that, I'd just like to move into a few things that are pending. Of course, the closure of the 30-day window to accept appeals. We're about a week into it now. Like I said, the last day to accept appeals is going to be Tuesday, October 14th. I also need to submit the tentative abstract to the Department of Revenue and get a certified tentative factor. I can't submit my documentation until the publishers give me their certification that we published. I do have it from the Daily Journal, and I'm told that the Herscher pilot, that one is en route. So I hope any day that I'll be able to attach those things to an email, because we don't have to mail it anymore. We can email it in now. I can get it to the Department of Revenue quickly. I also submit ahead of time. When I submit my documentation, I submit a letter that tries to answer every question that I can anticipate them asking me. And that usually expedites the process so that we can get a certified tentative abstract quickly, which is helpful both to me and to the Department of Revenue. It keeps a good relationship with them. So I'm looking forward to doing that hopefully by the end of this week. And then, of course, we would then move into Board of Review hearings. So anybody who files an appeal will get their tentative decision. And then if they want to come in for a final hearing, we would hold those beginning probably at the end of October and all the way through, mid to late December. But I'd like to close everything out by the end of the year as we have, for the last decade. So want to keep that going again in 2025. My last comment before I open the floor to questions, I just want to make sure that that I say this publicly. I'm not going to get into the reasons why, but the first 30 weeks of the year, we were short-staffed for 20 of those weeks. And my staff stepped up in a huge way to keep us moving in the right direction and staying on track so that I could sit here today and tell you that 11 years in a row we haven't missed a deadline. And I can't give them enough credit for the work that they did, because it's mentally draining. I know I asked a lot of them. We were short, like I said, we were short-staffed 20 weeks out of 30 before anybody asked for a single vacation day, personal day, sick day, and yet we're still on target to make sure that we finish the work in the same year we started. And I'm really, really proud of the people downstairs, and I just wanted to say that publicly. Now, with that, I'll open the floor for questions or comments.
Any questions or comments? Thank you to you and your staff, always. You're very consistent, so we appreciate that.
You folks have a great day.
Thank you. Next up, the County Clerk's Monthly Report. Dan Hendrickson. Can I have a motion to accept and put his report on file? First by Seabrook, second by Hess. And then we'll do a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Dan had an obligation downstairs, so he will not be here today. He is here, but he won't be here. Next up, we have the Recorder's Monthly Report, Lori Gadbois. And then can I have a motion to accept and put her report on file? First by Hunter, second by C-Royce, and then we'll do a voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. Welcome. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
How are everyone today?
Oh, fantastic.
Great. Any questions on the report? Numbers, concerns? For any new members, welcome. And I invite you to come into my office, as I do all county board members. Come in and see what we do, how we do it, why we do it, things like that. But there's nothing else. The only thing I'd like to share with you this morning is something that doesn't happen all the time. And that is, I got a note of appreciation. Yeah. So we have a lot of people who come into our office. Many of you don't realize, but I have many people coming into the office from out of state, throughout the state. This person happens to be a land surveyor from Marion, Illinois. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but he just congratulated the office on having what appears to be a well-run office with an excellent staff. That's huge. Of course, my staff all got a copy of this, and I do regularly boast to them how much I appreciate the work they do and the constant efficiencies that they provide for this county. So with that, I wanted to share with you what other people are saying throughout the state about our office in our county of Kankakee.
I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That is awesome to hear.
That's
It's always
for you
good to get a note of appreciation.
Oh, doesn't happen often. We hear many more complaints, usually in person, than we get anything in writing, but it is. It was very nice to receive this.
This may deserve a frame.
Specifically, one of my employees had the pleasure to work with him for almost 2 weeks, nonstop, and so it is in her file. So
That's
yes.
awesome.
So with that, is there anything else? Yes, Mr. Hunter.
Mr. Hunter?
I'm sorry.
Thank
No,
you
you're
very
good.
much. Thank you very much. You know, as of late, I've seen these commercials on TV about deed fraud and stuff. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, my memory serves me correctly, yeah, I think you gave a presentation on that. Could you revisit
So
that?
for 15 years, actually, I've had property fraud alert in our office. It is escalating. I do talk about it on a regular basis and do bring it to senior fairs and the mobile senior fairs that we do, and I'll talk about it to anybody. But actually, there's been heightened legislation that just passed, putting more responsibility on the recorder's office for property fraud protection and processes with fraud referrals through the state's attorney with law enforcement all the way into the courts, either adjudication or whatever it falls under. In Kankakee County, yes, we do have property fraud. It's happening all the time. Currently, we are working on one case that's escalated. There is a second one that hasn't gone too far, but it does start with the property owner has to initiate the concern, and then we work with them and go forward. A lot of times it happens within family disputes. It's not fun being involved in those. But unfortunately, nationally and worldwide, there are bad people out there wanting to take what we work so hard for to achieve, and that is owning our own home or property or farm or whatever our legacy is. Usually it has something to do with land, and they want to take it away from us too easily. They tried to take Graceland. They tried to take Halle Berry's property out in Los Angeles. The city treasurer or city clerk in Cook County about 10 years ago, they tried to take her property. So it's not new. They're just finding different ways to do it with all these electronic processes now, electronic signatures, electronic notaries. It's easy and hard. But it is putting a lot more responsibility on the recorder's offices for reviewing and catching and things like that. And then it's taking our processes and working through the county to get these bad people. and let them know in Kankakee County, at least, we're not going to tolerate this. So.
Thank you.
2 minutes, what?
Ms.
Oh, it
Foster?
takes two. Yes, I was like, did I talk
Miss Foster.
Yeah, good morning, Lori.
Good morning.
A community member had mentioned to me about covenants.
Yes.
And I know you
Yes.
had talked about that your office had worked very
Yes.
hard to eradicate
Yes.
those here in
Mhm.
Kankakee County. So I just kind of wanted to make sure that was something that you all, and I tried to explain. I said, oh no,
So that
maybe
is-
in the past it happened, but
Yeah. So that is state legislation that passed, and we actually did a resolution here because of that, to initiate the fact that if any homeowner comes to us with concerns about the restricted covenants on the property from the past, usually going forward today, I would like to believe we're not those people. And that we're better than that. But the past restricted covenants that were on properties and subdivisions, that we will work with them to initiate a change in the public record. And yes, the county board did approve that there is no charge for that process and recording to take place. So yes, we have been working on that. I couldn't give you a date, but for a while. Yes.
That's why
Thank you.
That's why the NAACP recognized you some time ago
Thank
for
you.
your efforts.
Thank you.
Any more questions? All right, thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you very
it.
much. Have a great day, everyone.
You too.
Stop by.
All right, the fun part. Administrative appointments, reappointments, and resignation. Oh, AWAC. Oh my gosh, I forgot. How could I forget? Yes, absolutely. I'm sorry about that.
I wouldn't let you forget. So I'm glad to be here today. I'm up here for a reason. I'll tell you what it is in a minute, but I'm here as co-chairman of the Animal Advisory Committee for the Welfare of Animals. I'm here because Tinker Parker, the chairman, has fallen and injured herself, and appropriately so, she fell on an animal in her house, so her pet. So she couldn't be here today. She's under care today. She's at doctor's appointment. So my first of 4 requests is that you send her a note or a card or an email or something and say, we miss you. We're sorry you're not here. Please get well fast. So I have four requests. That was one. The second one's really fast. The next thing on your agenda, and we were almost there fast, is the appointment, reappointment of people. And on there you'll see 5 names. 5 of the names are for the Animal Welfare Committee, Animal Welfare Advisory Committee. And notice in each case, it's a reappointment. And what that means is that those group of 5 people are so interested, they want to be reappointed. And in most cases, they've been reappointed 4 other times, which is 8 years. So my request is when it comes there next on the agenda, say aye, because that group of people would like to serve again. And you see their names are Tinker Parker, the veterinarian Diane Fedro, Dr. Fedro, Christy Slavey, Abby Smith, and Carol Weber. So that's my second request. The third request we talked about at the meeting on September 10 was fees increase. So Carrie Laird spoke to us at our advisory meeting about the importance of increasing the fees for animal control because they need to meet their expenses. Here's our 3 examples we heard at the meeting. 1, dog food went up from $28 a bag to $32 a bag. The one, a vial of vaccine went from $3 to $9, $3 to $9, and medical expenses have been up from $11,000 to currently through July, $24,000. That's a double there. So she is asking, and the Criminal Justice Committee recommended go to finance. So
Tomorrow
and finance. So I'm recommending if you're a finance person tomorrow, please approve that. But if you're on the county board, which we are, then when it comes up in October, please, in your heart, recommend that fee be increased too, so she can meet expenses.
Absolutely.
The last of the 4 is something I want to talk to you about. I'm going to hold this up high because I'd like you to meet Norman the St. Bernard. Norman the St. Bernard. This is our dog. He died. So Norman died a long time ago. But what we have done is our Animal Welfare Committee received permission to cooperate with Animal Control to have a fundraiser. And that fundraiser involves the east corridor of the building. And we're creating a memorial wall, If you want to be part of that, and I've got mine already ready, is you can frame your deceased animals or your alive ones, whichever ones you want to frame. And for a fee, you can hang Normie up on the wall. So that's what I'm encouraging you to do. Between now and October, November, get those pictures out, printed, and find a frame, because we have a way for you to spend your money to help Animal Control and dedicate your life to Normie the St. Bernard. So that's my last request. So it's a good fundraiser. It'll help Animal Control. It'll help our hearts will be warmed by remembering our animals. So that's it.
You brightened my day with that report. You did. That was fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much. And thoughts and prayers to Tinker. She seems to be in good spirits. Yeah. As always. Next up, we have administrative appointments, reappointments, and resignations. We have the reappointment of Grant Van Voorst to the Merit Commission, reappointment of John Adams to the Historic Preservation Commission, reappointment of Carol Weber to the Animal Welfare Advisory Committee, reappointment of Tinker Parker to the Animal Welfare Advisory Committee, reappointment of Abigail Smith to the Welfare Advisory Committee, reappointment of Christy Slavey to the Animal Welfare Advisory Committee, reappointment of Dr. Diane Fedro to the Animal Welfare Advisory Committee, reappointment of James C. Scoff to the Kankakee River Conservancy District, reappointment of Donald Zach to the Kankakee River Conservancy District, reappointment of Roger Blanchette to the X-Line Creek Drainage District, and appointment of Kevin Sullivan to the Historic Preservation Commission. And can I have a motion to combine and approve those? First by Carol, second by C. Royce, and then we'll do a voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Looks like it came true, Carol. Fantastic. Under openings, we'll do that next.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Before we move further, there are a couple of pages in here that are totally unlegible.
Unlegible?
Is that what that is?
Yeah,
I mean,
I just figured it out. If you look.
Duplicate?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Roger Blanchette.
Okay. Okay.
It's in there with both sides.
All right,
Yes,
well,
that's what it was.
I tried looking at it yesterday, and I couldn't get it figured out.
We will work on that.
Is that all that was? Was just
yes.
Okay. All right. That's fine. That's fine.
Thank you, Joanne. All right, we'll move on to openings. One opening on the Regional Planning Commission, one opening on the Kankakee County Housing Authority, which has to be a tenant, one opening on the Kankakee Waterways Advisory Subcommittee, one opening on the BM Lewis Drainage District, one opening on the Clausen Park Drainage District, one opening on the Mantino Drainage District number 3, two openings on the Moments Pembroke Union Drainage District number 1, one opening on the Moments and Yellowhead Drainage District number 1, and one opening on the Raymond Drainage District number 1. That's it for openings. We'll go on to new business. So we do this every year, establishing the holidays for 2026, and you have that information in your packet, and I would need a motion to approve the holidays for 2026. First by Hunter, second by Kirkstra. And then we'll do a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And then lastly, we have a resolution to support House Bill 2341. And Antonio brought that to my attention. Antonio, do you want to speak about that a little bit?
Sure. Well, that is a proposal that we have a resolution that is it's something that they're actually considering to pass in Springfield, and they need to look into a little bit more, is to allocate a little bit more money to counties within Illinois to help with health and well-being. So we are also doing the same tomorrow doing our meeting with the health department. So.
Thank you for bringing that forward, and we'd be happy to do that. Can I have a motion to approve the resolution?
Motion.
First by Featherling, second by, or actually first by Carrico, second by Featherling, and then we'll do a voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Is there anything under old business? Okay. Yes, also one of our members of the Waterway Advisory Subcommittee, a member, Richard Allen Schultz, happened to pass away. So we would like to give, our thoughts and prayers to his family. Craig, if you have anything to add to that, you can.
Rich has been with us since the beginning of that group and brought to the table a lot of expertise about the river. Actually lived right on the river for many, many years. So we're going to miss him at that committee.
Yes, we are. Thank you very much for bringing that up. I appreciate that. Anything under old business? Roger?
Make a motion to adjourn.
A motion to adjourn by Roger Hess, second by Kirkstra. Voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Meeting